Hi, welcome to the Community Producers. I'm your host, Cheyanna Shypitka. On this month's episode, we'll be checking out Trail's new Riverfront Center. Stay with us. The City of Trail held its grand opening of the new Riverfront Center earlier this month, giving the public its first glimpse of the new facility.
So we're here to recognize and celebrate the official opening of the Trail Riverfront Center that houses the Trail Library, Museum, and Visitor Center. What an amazing and most unique building, which is sure to be a landmark for the community and one in which many will take pride.
Well, definitely having the Riverfront Center at this location on Bay Avenue, down by the river in Jubilee Park, was certainly part of the original downtown revitalization plan. And the objective is to see if we can, increase the traffic flow through this area of town, and have a gathering center further into the community. And we're already starting to see some further private investment happening in the community, and I think that's where things will start heading now that we have the facility open, and one that definitely will be an added attraction for us.
It's so exciting to finally be opening the doors to everyone. It's been a very long and anticipated opening for us, and we are all excited to have this day be here.
We're looking forward to even learning more things about our history and enabling people to learn a lot about our history. And they'll enjoy the library part of it too. I think we'll try and do some programs in conjunction with the library and some planning together for exhibits and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'd been through the building a couple of times before we officially opened it here, but I think this brought a whole other perspective, and especially to see the engagement of so many of our community, not only in the library but also the museum. And I saw lots of storytelling going on, and just a lot of excitement. And we're just delighted that finally being able to pull the project together and have something for this community that'll be a legacy for many years.
I have the opportunity to be at the front door when people come in, and when they come in and they take that first look up the stairwell, they are awestruck. The first words out of their mouth is wow. And that's exactly what we wanted to create. We wanted to create that wow factor, so people wanted to be, come into the building and keep looking, right? Yeah, it's been great. Well, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It just makes sense, because if there's anything in the museum that people want to get more information on, or they want to perhaps maybe experience a bit more, they can come right into the library and look that up at the same time they're here. And they get to come here and look over this historic city, look down the river that so many people before us have come and gone, and it just makes sense, the whole atmosphere that's created here. The part that I was most amazed at was the children's section of the library on the bottom floor. And wide open with the windows overlooking Jubilee Park and the river. And I can just imagine how delightful it will be for children being in that area, exploring books and computers, and it just seems such a nice, relaxing place to be, and one very conducive to learning. So that is definitely a favorite of mine. But the other part is the museum, like the way the displays have been put together, and the intricacy of them, and exploring some of the history of our past. I think it's just so exciting, and definitely going to be able to spend hours in there just going through some of the artifacts and some of the history. And matter of fact, I had some family here today
who recognized the times when great-grandfather was actually working at the smelter, and some of the times to remember that.
Up next is our regular segment with Metal Tech Alley. In this feature, we visit the Midas Lab in Trail and learn how it helps all ages explore the world of technology.
Things are heating up at the Midas Digital Fabrication Lab in Trail. The prototype facility allows the public to come in and train and use some of the leading technical equipment.
So Midas Lab is a prototyping and commercialization facility. We focus on digital fabrication technologies. So this is all the new age technologies, CNC machines, laser cutters, 3D printers and scanners that are being used in the workplace and industry. We've been boots on the ground for this year and a half, and it's been a really huge uptake in the community. So we've got public members coming in, we've got school districts partnering with us. As well, we now have industry and corporate members coming in to utilize our facility. So we have access to the tools that they maybe have interest in or ideas about, but without maybe the end goal of what they could use that, or the cost side, how they could actually access that equipment. So being able to look into the world of medical and prosthetics, this 3D printing really opens that ability. So this one here, this is a 3D scan from a dog's leg. This poor dog only has 3 legs, and the one remaining back leg is really mangled. Now, we've been able to help try and increase the quality of life for this dog by taking these 3D scans, and now we're working on new methods to be able to use to make forms and molds. So not only am I going to be able to give this dog the ability to support itself, but also be able to dress it up a little bit. This is effectively going to build a sorrel for a dog.
Industries around the region, such as Tech Minco, are really jumping at the chance to use the equipment, giving businesses the chance to take an idea and make it a reality.
People are trying out prototyping, and what that means is it could be a first stage as an idea. How do they actually move ahead with an idea? So we're seeing companies be able to take on first stage prototypes for tech, which might mean they're going to make it out of a softer material. So they're going to make it out of composite plastics or wood before they've moved on to metalworks. And we're seeing a lot of that organically happen, where people can now try out an idea with very little risk and very little input to that side. So it makes it very affordable, and they're getting the most cutting-edge technologies to work with. The ability to fabricate things out of aluminum and steel make it very simple for us to be able to take, again, that same digital design that we've been using in all our other processes, and now apply a new tool path to it. Tell it what the feeds and speeds are to cut out of nice soft aluminum. If it needs to cut through really hardened steel, it's going to have a different set of parameters.
The lab offers a wide variety of equipment, giving all ages a chance to come in and learn how to use the machines and see what they are capable of creating.
So we do training and certification, and this is for all ages and all abilities. So if someone has a machinist or a millwright ticket, they're going to be able to drop into Midas and utilize that machinery very quickly. For students, we're able to hook them up with 3D printers, 3D scanners, laser cutters. It's kind of the first stage in digital fabrication, is being able to get access and experience on these tools so they actually understand what they're capable of, and more so where they can take those ideas further.
Midas gives students the opportunity to get hands-on and get interested in the science and technology sector.
Students are really eager for this. A lot of the focus in schools right now is about science and technology education, and there's not a lot of great outlets for them to explore. There's a few tech clubs in the region, there's a few resources, but something like Midas really gives them the basic skills to be able to start moving ahead with their ideas. And that's actual equipment that they'd use as a paid operator. It'd be something as an engineer or designer. This is using the real world application side, and so the students are getting to actually make projects. They're getting to learn about training on those tools, so they're industry ready, no matter what their industry is.
It also allows students to see future career possibilities. And working with Metal Tech Alley, the students can see potential for a job right here in the region.
Metal Tech Alley has been huge in the region for being able to cement in the idea that we're not just a one-trick pony. We're not just about outputting materials. And the ability for us to invest in the next set of students, the next set of entrepreneurs, is a huge factor of that. So being able to take those skills and apply them, there's no other outlet like that. You can go off to post-secondary institutions and maybe get a little bit of access, but for someone to really pursue this or try things out, there's not a lot of great outlets for that. So industry is really eager to see this, and the students are finding a great way to be able to try out things as design, robotics, programming, automation. All the stuff that's cutting edge is something that is dropping right into their laps in the schools, and we're there to fully pick up where the schools leave off.
The Midas Lab offers tours to the public every Thursday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And to learn more about these or any of the programs offered, you can check out their website, midaslab.ca.
It's been 1 year since a long-anticipated specialty vehicle hit the streets in Nelson, giving the community a new, accessible form of transportation. Here's a look at the Kootenay Car Share vehicle, making a difference in the area.
So we have a new wheelchair accessible van in our fleet now. There's been a lot of excitement in the community about this. There's people coming up to me in the community and talking about how much they're excited about the vehicle and how it's such a great service to our community.
So back in 2013, Nelson Cares was very aware, because of our work on seniors transportation issues, of the need for an accessible van in the community. It was not available through car rental agencies. At that time there were no accessible taxis, and even the transit options that were accessible weren't accessible for a lot of seniors. So at the same time, Randy Jensen was experiencing that in a personal way through her mother's need. She wanted to take her mother out and couldn't find any way other than buying a $40,000 vehicle to take her mom out for Sunday. So, you know, sort of a synchronicity is a wonderful thing. Randy came to us, and my working group on the Seniors Transportation Project jumped in. Carshare was part of that, so we started discussions with Kootenay Car Share because that seemed like the wisest, best way to get one out into the community as an asset, as opposed to attaching it to one nonprofit agency. And some other community agencies joined in, and we launched a very successful fundraising campaign. It took time, for sure, and it was a lot of work, but we had some wonderful donors come through for us. We got Daybreak Rotary made a major donation. Vince DeVito, as part of the Take Action for Sick Kids money that had been left over, they wanted to see that go to something that would help, because of course the community isn't just about seniors, it's also about family members who are adults, children, friends, and so on. We also we applied for a CIP grant, in the City of Nelson, RDC areas A, E, and the Village of Salmo all came through with together a major grant. And then, of course, numerous smaller donations, everything from $20 to $500, just put us over the top. And then along the way, Nelson Cares came through. We had a surplus van that just needed some repairs, and they donated it to Kootenay Car Share for just the cost of repairs. So that really enabled us to say, okay, we're done fundraising, let's move forward and get this van into the community.
The wheelchair van has been a big issue around. We in the community here in Nelson have limited accessible transportation services. So the wheelchair van fits a hole that Handy Dart can't fill. Our Handy Dart is our transit accessible transportation for seniors, but our Handy Dart does not leave the community, and it only operates on a Monday to Friday daytime basis. So evenings, weekends, any appointments that somebody might have outside of the community, specialist appointments in trail, there is no accessible transportation service to accommodate folks at all. So this is a huge filler of the gap. The wheelchair van provides people the ability to have accessible transportation outside of the community and on those evening and weekends, which seniors want to participate in more than just medical appointments. They'd like to go to the movies once in a while. They'd like to go to the park on the weekends. And those kinds of social outings aren't factored in very well in our bigger picture of transportation services. So this provides individuals the ability to sign sign up for a membership with the Kootenay Car Share, have access to that.
It took a while. It was 3 years in the making, but now we have the van, and I'm really looking forward to taking my mom down to the Dairy Queen, you know, and maybe down to Lakeside Park, and maybe out to the house for a family dinner now and again. And yay, Nelson, thank you.
The feedback from the community, like through the service providers that we work with, the folks at City Hall, this is amazing. I mean, this is, as far as we know, no one has ever done this through a car share organization. And I mean, I think it's the reason that the fundraising campaign was so successful, is because people would think about it and think, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. It's like, you know, it's not like one agency is now responsible for insuring it and, you know, maintaining it and hiring drivers. By putting it with a car share organization, it just belongs to the community, and they just run it like they would any of their vehicles, you know, which are sort of self-sustaining because it's a cooperative.
It's opening up a lot of doors for people. We take for granted access to our community, but it's really something that a lot of folks aren't able to participate in. So being able to get out of the house, to reduce that isolation, to participate in your community holds significant change, not just for seniors, but for anybody.
Anyone who's a member can use a vehicle, whether in their own wheelchair or not. Of course, we're trying to gear that towards people in wheelchairs because it's such a special service that we provide to the community. But anyone who in the community, whether you have a temporary injury or you have a lifelong disability, you're able to use a van. And even if you want to take just a fun ride in the wheelchair van, you can do that as well. Any information about the car share or the fleet or about the wheelchair van you can access on our website, which is carsharecoop.ca. And there's a phone number on there as well and an email, and we'd be happy to help you out any way we can.
This month on our seniors segment with Volunteer Access producer Sandy McCrate, we learn more about the Volunteer Tax Program.
And now I'm joined by Sharon Lelliott. Sharon runs the Volunteer Income Tax Program at Castlegar Community Services. Sharon, can you tell us a bit about the program?
The program is, of course, run by Canada Revenue Agency, and they have volunteers all over Canada. It is specifically for low-income people, and that also includes a lot of our seniors. We do have some limitations, which I can tell you about. If you're a single person that's earning less than $30,000, you can come and see us. A couple is less than $40,000, and also you have to have investments less than $1,000 a year. We don't do taxes. We do fairly simple ones. We don't do ones for businesses or rentals, and we also cannot do taxes for deceased people. What you need to bring in is all your T-slips for your old age security, your pension, your Canada pensions, any investment slips, and it's always a good idea to bring in your medical slips and your charitable donations, and if we need to use them, we will. The way that we run from March the 1st till April 30th every year at Community Services, and you have to make an appointment to come in. So you would have to phone Community Services at 250-365-2104 and make an appointment to come and see us.
Sharon, can you tell us a little bit about why the program exists? Why do we need a program like this?
Well, there's a lot of people that can't afford to go to places that charge for doing income taxes. That's one of the biggest benefits. The tax returns are getting more and more complicated every year, and so people don't know what deductions they are eligible for. That's another advantage, is that we're supposed to know, and we do know that what people are entitled to. A lot of people, if you don't do your taxes, you don't know about getting your GST or any, as I say, other advantages that are available to you.
Great. And is there any limitations? I know a lot of people want to know if they can do multiple years at once.
Yes, you can do multiple years. I would say up to about 10 years, but specify that when you make your appointment, because we would need to slot in a suitable amount of time, and also not all of our volunteers have the appropriate programs. I do, but most don't.
And now we bring you another segment from the Visac Artist Profile Series. Up next, we meet someone who is not only an artist, but an art educator.
So, my name's Joost Winkers. I'm an artist, and I'm also an art educator. So teaching out here in Rossland and in the trail area. I would say my inspirations come, from anywhere. The activities that I do outside of school, outside of art, those can be inspirational. So if I'm into mountain biking or hiking, surfing, my art tends to reflect it. And I think that hopefully can inspire students to find and paint their own interests. It's not that everybody should be painting surf paintings or mountain bike paintings, but they should be looking inside at themselves and being like, well, what do I really like? When I teach, I know a lot of these kids will not go into art as a career. And I'm really okay with that. But what I hope is that the community can actually offer supports that they can tap into to allow that creativity to still exist. Because I think it often gives us a lot of meaning and purpose. At the end of the day, if you have been creative, whether you've done something musically or you've done something artistically, you will feel better about yourself because you've actually made something. Even though we all do something different artistically, whatever happens at the Visac can actually reflect the creativity or the creative influences or the direction of the people who are coming. I think it can be a bit of a hub.
And that wraps it up for another edition of the Community Producers. I'm your host, Cheyanna Shypitka. If you have content or video you'd like to share, contact us via email or our Shaw TV West Kootenay's Facebook page. Thanks for joining us.